Hello, and welcome back to another collection showcase where today I'm showing off my entire DVD collection. Well, not my DVD collection, sorry, my TV show collection. Now, there is an asterisk on that because my Star Trek and Doctor Who collection, TV show collection will not be shown in this. Those have their own separate long ass videos where I went through my entire Doctor Who collection, which was the very first video I posted. Well, the second video I posted this year, but the first of the collection showcases. And then Star Trek one was the one after that. And then the Blu-ray movie collection was the longest at like 2.5 hours. So let's see how long this one goes for. But yeah, I would say I'm more of a TV guy than I am a movie guy. I know that's, that movie reviews were my whole thing for 3 years of the channel. But I do love TV shows. So with that minute ramble out of the way, let's get started. So as always, these are in alphabetical order, not like genre order, because that's not how I like to store things. So I have season 1 of American Dad, and only season 1 of American Dad, because I, for whatever reason, just cannot seem to find any other seasons of American Dad out in the wild. Now, I know I could order online, but I don't like to order online from CEX as much, simply because of the postage, the $3.50 postage per item. So I usually will just try to chance my arm and find it out in the wild, and I've only ever come across 2 season 1s. I've never come across, the season 1 that I have here, and then a different season 1, just never any of the other seasons, because I would love to have more seasons of American Dad, because I do love the show. Now, I don't watch it religiously, but if I see an episode on TV or a clip of it on TikTok, I will watch it, because I do like it. I would say at the current point, I would prefer it over the Family Guy of now compared to the Family Guy of, the first four or 5 seasons. Now we get on to the big brunt of the bees, and that is Ben 10. So, because that's a show I grew up with, mainly just the original Ben 10. So we have Volume 1 here, which has 5 episodes, and then there were 10, Washington, BC, The Kraken, Permanent Retirement, and Hunted. So, yeah, this is a show that I absolutely loved and adored as a kid. I had the Omnitrix. I had several different toy Omnitrixes. And I definitely had a lot of the toys of the aliens. And even now, I have just 2 toys of the aliens. One being Wild Mutt, the original Wild Mutt toy from this era, and a Alien Force Diamond Head that I found. I did at one point have a original Diamond Head from the Ben 10's series, but I think that got thrown out. But yeah, so I have Volume 1, which has so the start of the seasons for the volumes would always have 5 episodes. Then the ones after that would have 4, and I don't have them all. I am missing volumes 8, 9, and 10 to have a complete set of the original Ben 10 cartoon. They're just now, those ones are just becoming so hard to find. So next, of course, I do have Volume 2 entitled The Alliance, and those are the episodes on that one. Then we have Volume 3, which is Side Effects, and then those are the episodes on this one. Then we get to Volume 4, Grudge Match, which is the start of Season 2. Gwen 10 is actually probably one of my favorite episodes because it's a what if episode, which kind of then become canonized later on in Omniverse, that there were, different universes with different Ben 10s. There's a zombie Ben 10, there's a Mad Max Ben 10, there's an emo Ben 10 called Nega Ben, stuff like that. And so there does exist, that Gwen 10 universe does exist. Then we have Volume 5 with those episodes on it. Then we have Volume 6 with those episodes on it. Then we get to Volume 7, which is the start of the third season, which Beowulf and Ben 10,000 are probably some of my all-time favorite episodes of the show. Because I do love the Beowulf design that we got. And I know later on they changed his name from Beowulf to something else, which I hate because I'll always just call it Beowulf, So then we are jumping straight up to Volume 11, which we're in, I believe, the final... Yeah, we're in Season 4 now. So those are those episodes. And then we get to the final volume, being Volume 10, Ben 10 versus the Negative 10, which is the series finale. Now, technically, the movie Secrets of the Omnitrix would break up the last couple of episodes of season 4, but that's a movie, and so that is in my DVD movie section. But now we do move on to Alien Force, which I'm definitely missing quite a lot of, because I only have the first 6 volumes of Alien Force. So here's Alien Force Volume 1, Ben 10 Returns, and just like with the Ben Prime ones, there we have 5 episodes to start off with on the first volume. Then here we have Volume 2 with up to episode 9. Now, Alien Force is not one I have seen, but I've seen enough clips of it to know that it is definitely something I do want to actually sit down and watch at some point. Because there's a lot of stuff that I do like about the franchise that has spawned from Alien Force and Ultimate Alien, such as Alien X, one of the most powerful aliens out there. And then we have, Volume 4, which is the start of Season 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so the start of Season 2 of Alien Force there. Then we get to Volume 5 with those episodes there. And then the last volume that I have in my collection is Volume 6, which are these episodes there. And I've only ever found 2 volumes for Ultimate Alien. I've never found any of the others. So we have Ultimate Alien Volume 2 here, which is they upped it to 5 episodes on here per disc. So we have episodes 6 to 10 on there. And then we have Ultimate Alien Volume 3, which also has 5 episodes on there as well. So that's all of my Ben 10 stuff, excluding some of the movies that I do have. But yeah, it is a franchise that I love. I probably do want to have a sit down and do a full watch through of the franchise at some point. But we only have 2 more to go for this stack before I have to go get another one. And it is a Blu-ray. So Blu-rays will be mixed in with this because I did not want to when I was doing my Blu-ray movie collection, if I showed off the TV show Blu-rays, that would have been a 3-hour video, 3-hour plus video. So I'm going to include them in here. So as you see, I only have the first season of Breaking Bad on Blu-ray because I'm kind of under the notion that I want to have the rest of them on Blu-ray because, it's still cheap. But at the same time, you'll see when it comes to my collecting is I don't necessarily care about getting something for TV show wise, DVD or Blu-ray. It's all the same to me. So that is why I'll probably start to get the rest of the seasons on either DVD or Blu-ray. It's just whichever I can find. And then here is a show that I have not seen. I only have the 2nd season of it because I should probably give this a watch at some point. And that is Babylon 5. I can't say anything about this show because I have not seen it. It's on my backlog. It's dangerously low on my backlog, to be completely honest with you. But now that I'm not going to be as focused on doing movie reviews, perhaps I'll actually free up some time to, give it a watch in my own time. So that is the first stack. Time for me to go and grab the next one. Okay, so the next one is, again, something that I haven't seen that I know I probably should, and it is on my backlog, and that is Band of Brothers. Just haven't watched any of the episodes. I've seen clips of it, but I've not watched any of the episodes in full, so I don't really have much to talk about when it comes to that. But next is Bakugan Battle Brawlers Volume 1, which has the first 5 episodes on here. Now, Bakugan on physical media, to my knowledge, does not really exist past Volume 2. I don't know if there does exist any of the others. Volume 1 is super duper common to come by. Volume 2, not at all. I have never seen a Volume 2. I've seen Volume 1. I own it here. Even as a kid, I owned Volume 1. But I never owned or seen Volume 2 or any volume past 2. Because I do know Volume 2 exists. Just after that, I don't think it was ever properly released on physical media. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. But this is, again, another franchise that I grew up watching and loving and collecting for. Like, I would definitely buy, or rather, my mother would buy me a bunch of Bakugan, because I love this show. Like, I remember being absolutely enthralled with the story. And it is, the main Battle Brawlers arc, from beginning to end, is absolutely amazing. And I might have to rewatch it for a review, because it's been 7 or 8 years since I last sat down and watched it in full. Because I also love the original Bakugan Battle Brawler video game that spawned from this, that was released on practically every system back in the day. DS, 360, PS3, Wii. I own the DS and 360 games of this, and I love the story of the games as well. And yeah, it's just one that I look back on extremely fondly. And I still have some of my original Bakugan. Like, I do have an original Drago. I think it's 520G. Now, I did try to give the new reboot a shot, and it just sucks. I'm sorry. Just the new designs of the Bakugan balls, and the anime itself just sucks. But we move on. So we have a collection here of over an hour and a half of Adventures of Brum. This was something that I remember watching as a very, 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 very young kid. I'm talking probably 3 or 4 here, on the CBBC channel. And it's a fever dream to me, because I know I've watched it, I know I loved it, but that's about it. Like, I don't remember a single thing about it except for the intro song, the intro credits that they filmed for it. That's all I can remember from it. And so I don't know what other types of physical media that exists for Brum. But yeah, it is one that I absolutely loved and adored as a kid. Next, we have Volume 2 of Batman the Animated Adventures. So the animated series. I believe I watched, this growing up on reruns on Cartoon Network, as well as other Batman shows. And as you can see here, we do have a note, because this was a kind gift from the Trash Picture Show that he kindly gifted to me. So we have there, I believe it has 28 episodes on here. Yeah, there we go. 28 heroic heroic. I'm dyslexic. We'll just move on. We'll just move on. To some anime. A bunch of anime is actually coming up. Starting off with Code Geass, Lelouch of the Rebellion, Season 1. I've only watched Season 1 and Season 2. I don't think I've watched any of the movies. And I definitely know I haven't watched the reboot, the new continuation. I loved Code Geass. This was, I actually watched it on YouTube. That's how I used to watch some anime back in the day, like Death Note, and this was, I got lucky to find, full episodes on here, not like back in the early days of YouTube where it was in multiple parts, and that it was the footage was actually cropped down like severely to try and avoid the copyright system, and so that's how I watched it, and I have not watched it since I got into anime about third or fifth year, so we're talking 2014, 2015. So I definitely am in a massive need of a rewatch, and finishing off the actual franchise itself. Next, we do have a big box set. So speaking of Death Note, this is what properly got me into anime. Now, I know I grew up with the likes of Bakugan, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Digimon, those anime, but it wasn't until Death Note that got me heavily into anime for a good while, for the rest of my time in secondary school. And I loved it. I loved all 37 episodes, and I have done a review of Death Note because I rewatched it last year for the first time in years, and it still fucking holds up. It's absolutely amazing. I will only watch this dubbed. I don't care about watching anime dubbed or subbed. Doesn't bother me. For Dragon Ball, I prefer sub because I prefer Nozawa over Shemel. But that's an entirely different kettle of fish conversation there. But Death Note is the only one that I will truly ever watch in English. I've tried to give the Japanese version a shot. I just don't like it. I definitely think the English cast killed it. And that is why I'll only ever watch it in dubbed rather than subbed. But continuing on, we do have Death Parade. Not with Death Note, it's a completely separate anime, but there is an Easter egg to Death Note in this. And this is another one that I have watched because I fell in love with this anime when it came out. I have watched it. I think I've rewatched this more than I have any other anime, in my opinion. I think I've watched it at least under 10 but above 5 times, and I can watch it both subbed and dubbed because I love both. So like I said, I have done a review for this because it's it's kind of a sleeper anime now because it's been so long that because at the end it does set up a season 2 that we just never got. Which is unfortunate because I would love a season 2 of Death Parade. Both the intro and outro music are absolute bangers. I love both of them. So I really do hope we get a season 2. But now that it's been, almost a decade since it came out, I highly doubt it. But now we get onto some Dragon Ball. Yes, because I do love Dragon Ball. I've mentioned it already in this video. And if you see my Blu-ray movie collection, you'll have seen some of my Dragon Ball Z movie Blu-ray movies. So I do have some episodes of the anime. We'll start off with this because this is really interesting. I found this out in the wild in a charity shop. It's Dragon Ball Z Volume 4. This bit here is in English, but the entire 5 episodes from episodes 19 to 24 are in Japanese with no English subtitles whatsoever. And it actually works on my Xbox One. And my disc drive, my DVD disc drive for my laptop that I have, which thankfully it's actually pretty close on hand. Just need to try and get some cards not to fucking fall on me. Yeah, this thing, it reads on this thing, because I have these burnt onto my laptop now as well. And yeah, so it's just the beginning part, well, the later parts of the Saiyan saga, when the Saiyans show up, and just before Goku returns from King Kai's planet. So I think I got that for like €1 in a charity shop. Now, Dragon Ball Z has never had the best home media releases. You know, between the orange, well, except for in Japan. But in the West, we have never had a good actual version, good release of Dragon Ball. It's always been cropped, denoised, digital noise added back in. It all looks horrible. The orange bricks to the Blu-ray releases and the steel books for the quote-unquote 30th anniversary, they all look terrible. The only ones that you can kind of skirt by with, and they're the ones that I have, because I prefer this version of the franchise than actual Z, which I know is sacrilege to some people, but it's what introduced me to the franchise. Well, Team 4-Star introduced me to the franchise, and then this was the one that I went and watched most of, and that is Dragon Ball Z Kai. So here I have Season 1 of Dragon Ball Z Kai, which is the first 26 episodes. Obviously, like I said, it's cut out a lot of filler, and there are some scenes that are, redrawn, reanimated, and it's in line with the manga. And so I probably do want to give a full proper watch through of Z at one point, or rather Z Kai or Dragon Ball Kai, whichever one you want to go for. And I am nearly there. I almost have all of them. So I have, as you've seen there, Season 1. I have Season 2, which is episodes 27 to 52, which is the Frieza saga. So the first one was the Saiyan saga. And yeah. I definitely think this isn't like this might be like my second favorite saga out of all of Z. The main one that I love the most is the Cell saga, and I have Season 4 here. I am missing Season 3, and I am missing the final chapter, Seasons 1 and 2, which is the Buu saga, but I'll definitely get my hands on those. But this is the end of the Cell arc / the androids. And so yeah, it's episodes 78 to 98, and this is where I watched this is what I watched the most of Kai, was mainly just towards the end of the Cell saga, and that is all of the Dragon Balls, and that's all the anime that I have for right now. There probably will be more later on this video, but now we get on to something that I do. For me, my collection of is complete. There definitely are more seasons of the show, but I do not care. I prefer just having what I have, and that is Family Guy. So we have Season 1 here, which it's an alright season. It's what started it all. But it definitely got better as the show progressed. So, but I love all the early seasons. So then we have Season 2 here, in these very, very slimline cases. Then we move on to Season 3 in a more thicker style, because now it's been put onto 3 discs instead of the 2. Then we have not the tripod there. Season 4. This is one I have watched. Season 4 is one I have definitely watched a lot of, because I do remember having this on DVD when I got heavily into Family Guy. So yeah, I definitely do enjoy Season 4 probably the most of the show. And then, of course, I do have Season 5 as well. So that is the end of Stack 2. So now it's time for me to go and grab the next cubby, the next shelf, essentially, which has the rest of the Family Guys and a bunch of TV shows in F, surprisingly enough. Okay, so I have the next stack here as we are going to finish up with Family Guy and start on a new season. So we have Family Guy presents Stewie Griffin, The Untold Story, which I believe is the future episode where he travels into the future or something like that. I'm not entirely too sure. I forget exactly where this takes place. But yeah, that's I have it in between season 5 and 6, but I think it might have came out in season 4, between season 4 and season 5. I'm not 100% sure. Then moving on, I do have the 6th season of Family Guy. More of my favorite episodes on here, like Stewie Loves Lois, Mother Tucker, Saving Private Brian, just to name a few. Barely Legal, that's another one. Road to Rupert, that's a pretty good one. The Tan Antique with Stewie Zizero, I probably butchered that, but that's definitely another one of my favorites. And then we have deleted scenes and stuff there. So yeah, all around a good season. See, that's what I mean when I stopped collecting at season 13, is when that's when I stopped liking Family Guy, and that's when they didn't have as many good episodes. So here we have season 7, which has the 100th episode on it, which is of course Stewie kills Lois, which is a good story. It's a good 2-parter. Then of course we have series 8, which has the Bird is the Word episode, which is another favorite of mine. And then from season 8 onwards, they've slimmed them down from the big box sets to just standard MRAs with slips. So here we have season 9 of the show. Then we have season 10, which I done that myself to the slip, and I fucking hate that it's like that. So I definitely want to keep an eye out for a better condition slip. So I just think it overall looks well compared to just having it like that. But that is just my opinion. It's a shame that I didn't do what the Simpsons did for the Who Shot Mr. Burns episode when they released that on DVD. They done away with the box set so that if you put it a certain way, it shows who was the killer. Then of course we have season 11, which is another good season. Getting to the last two here, we have season 12, which has Back to the Pilot, which is definitely one of my all-time favorite episodes. Just the fact that they did go back and use the original animation style for new scenes, and that was really, really impressive to me. And the last one, of course, is season 13, and this is where I stopped liking the show, because I went through what episodes were in each season to find out where I wanted to stop with collecting for Family Guy, and season 13 was that's the last full season that I've enjoyed. I've tried watching some of the episodes from the newer seasons, and I just could not get into it. It also has the 200th episode in this season. I don't know why I'm moving that off, because I still have 3 more in this stack, because they are big box sets, and that is Futurama. So here we have season 1. Now the slip on this is damaged due to my own negligence, because I am a fucking idiot, to say the least. So here we have the front with Bender and Fry with some background there, and then on the back we have Leela and more stuff on the background. So taking off the slip, here we see New York with some other characters. There we have Amy and Kif, which is a really, really weird drawing of Kif now that I'm looking at it. And then here is the other side of it. with some other stuff. And then the DVDs themselves have artwork on them to that if you put them together, they show like one continuous art piece. So here is volume 1, and then volume 2, and then volume 3. I'll try to show it off here, and I'll try my best to do it for all of them. So that is the continuing artwork there, or if I've done it in the wrong order like an idiot. So there we go. That's the continuing artwork there, and then there's, you know, stuff on the spine there as well. And I did watch a video that a YouTuber done where he bought this like really early promotional videotape of the pilot episode that had yet to be aired, just to see if, you know, Nibbler's shadow was in the, you know, the original broadcast version back in 1999. And it was. So the plan for Nibbler has always been there, which is, you know, good to know. It was a really good video. If I can remember, if someone can remind me, if you're this far into the video, to link it, I'll try my best to try and find it again. Then, of course, I do have season 2. So here we have Bender the Professor, Amy, and Fry on the front here. And then on the back, we have Speak of the Devil, Nibbler, Leela, Zoidberg, and Hermes. So then, taking it out, again, continuing on with the same tradition of having different artworks. So here is volume 4 with Fry and his frozen girlfriend. We have Zoidberg with Mom, Hermes, and the bureaucrat. Then we also have Giant Bender with Amy and Fry there. And then the first one here is Leela, Zap, and some of the mutants plus Nibbler. So again, I will line these up so that way you can see the artwork that it shows, like so. And then the last one for this stack is, of course, the complete season 3. It is, of course, missing the plastic slip on it like the others, but here we do have, you know, Farnsworth and Bender in the side. We have Fry, but with the lead pipe sticking out, and then Zoidberg off to the side there. And then we have Leela there. And then once again, we do have the continuing artwork. We have Wooden Bender. It's a bit sticky. We have some robots, including the Robot Devil in the background there. Again, so some of the younger characters, and of course Seymour. And yeah, then we have that one there. So lining these up, we have the continuing art throughout. Okay, got the new stack, and again, continuing on with Futurama here, I do have the complete 4th season. Again, missing one of the slips that it has on it, or I'm not even sure if this one did come with one. And I just realized something. I might have... Is this going to be another instance where I realize I have yet another fucking mistake? Okay, so that's definitely season 4. Let me grab season 3. Because these, yeah, I've realized my mistake. I was sold this season 3 box with season 4 in it. This is the second time this has happened. If you watch my Blu-ray video, my Blu-ray movie collection, you'll realize that my toys, me realize that my Toy Story 4 Blu-ray doesn't even have the fucking Blu-ray, because that's how I got the Toy Story 2, was in a charity shop. Great. Gonna have to sort that out. Didn't fucking realize that at the time of buying it. So yeah, there's no need for me to show you the continuing art for season 4. Now I just gotta fucking find season 3, which thankfully it won't be too hard. But yeah, moving on to season 5, we have of course the movies that the specials for when Futurama came back after being cancelled. So starting off with Bender's Big Score. I'll put that there. Then we also have on Blu-ray Bender's Game. And then lastly I have is Into the Wild Green Yonder, which I believe I'm missing the first one, the very first story from season 5. But that's all of the Futuramas that I have. Now I'm gonna have to go fucking get season 3. Fuck me, Jesus Christ, that's the second time this has happened. And it's always when I'm filming this that's when I realize it. Dear God. Yeah, moving on to Farscape, a TV series that I have not watched, but I do have season 3 volume 2, which has these two here. It's a show that I know, like with Babylon 5, that I should watch because I'm pretty sure I would like it. And then I have volume 3 here as well. I'm 99% sure that I would like Farscape, but I just haven't gotten around to it. Next we have the animated Fantastic Four series that was out during the time of the X-Men one, the Spider-Man one, there was a Hulk one as well, and then of course there was this. I'm not even sure if I have a full set, to be completely honest with you. I haven't looked into it. So I know I have season 1 volume 1, which has the first 7 episodes on it. This was my introduction to the Fantastic Four and to Marvel in general, were those shows, the Hulk one, the Spider-Man one, the X-Men one, which will be coming up later on, and the Fantastic Four. So then here we have season 1 volume 2, which is 8 to 13. Have not seen it since I was a kid on the reruns. I haven't seen many more since. So here's season 2 volume 1 with episodes 1 to 7. And then we have a battered up season 2 volume 2, which has 8 to 13. Then I have the first season of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and it's the only time I've ever seen this out and about. Now again, I know I could easily go and buy them online, but I like the thrill of the hunt of actually finding something that I need out and about when I do go looking, instead of just buying online, So yeah, I still have yet to add more seasons in. But I haven't seen every episode of The Fresh Prince the same way I haven't seen every episode of Futurama. But it's definitely a show that I know I do like. And then moving on to probably one of the best Irish TV shows out there, and that is Father Ted. So I have all 3 seasons in this box set here. Absolutely loved it growing up. Again, I don't think I've seen every episode that was put out. But it is, it's a brilliant show. It's, like I said, it's probably one of the best Irish shows. And to be honest with you, out of the entire cast, I'm in real life, outside of doing videos, I'm a lot alike Dougal than I would like to admit. with just the amount of stupidity that I have of being an idiot. It knows no bounds. Like what you see on these videos is a toned down version of myself, uh, that I want you to see, not the actual blithering idiot that I actually am. Moving on to another TV show that I have not seen, and that is Firefly. Because again, I know I've been told I'd like it. I just have yet to get around to it. Because I also own the movie Serenity on DVD, that I'll probably watch when I do finally get around to Firefly. Because I just have not had the time for it. But who knows? Maybe this year will be the year that I actually do watch Firefly. And then the last one for this stack before I have to go move to another shelf is the complete first season of Ghost Whisperer. So this was a show that I remember watching with my mother, but at the same time, I when it comes to horror stuff, jump scares and all that, I'm not afraid to admit that I am the biggest coward when it comes to that. It's why I don't like them. The only two horror franchises that I would actively watch and enjoy is the Final Destination franchise and the Paranormal Activity franchise. For the first three, granted, the last time I tried to watch Paranormal Activity 1, I switched it off 20 minutes in. Probably just wasn't in the best mood for it at that point. But Ghost Whisperer is again one that I've not seen every episode of it. But I remember loving it, and whenever it was, doing reruns on, I think the channel was Sky Living. I'm That's unlocked a fucking memory. I don't know if Sky Living is still a thing anymore. Um, yeah, that's where I was watching it, was Sky Living on a bunch of reruns. Because it wasn't just this that they would do. They did show like a bunch of the ghost shows on there, like Ghost Hunters. I think Ghost Adventures. I'm not 100% sure, but Ghost Adventures is another one that I do like. But yeah, there were definitely like I was very young watching this. But I'd say probably about 10 or 11. But definitely a big old coward, like I said, when it comes to certain things. Like I know there was one part of one of the seasons, I think it was season 4, season 5, that had the supposed big bad. Now again, I haven't seen it because I was after having a nightmare over this. My mother forbade me from watching it. That she had like her mouth sewn, as well as her eyes. This vengeful spirit, that was shaping up to be the big bad. But I have seen either all of season 1 or most of season 1. And this, I'd say the same with seasons 2 and 3. Were the ones that I would definitely have seen the most of. Just not a lot of season 4 and season 5. And it's definitely a show that I do want to revisit because it holds up. Whenever I've gone back to watch just a couple of episodes, or even if I see clips of it on TikTok, it still holds up. So yeah, as well, the Ghost Whisperer is kind of synonymous with the channel in a way, because back in 2022 or 2023, I made a big massive rant video about CEX and how over between Ireland and the UK of the different prices, where here for the box set, and it's still actually that price, is still in around the €40 for the box set of all 5 seasons. But in the UK it's like £12 or something like that. I think that's how much AJ got it for. But eventually I did manage to buy all the seasons, loose and not in the box set. But yeah, that's time for me to go grab a new shelf. to go through all my collection and to find out if I've been bamboozled by fucking buying the wrong season again. Okay, on to a new alcove, and again continuing on with Ghost Whisperer, I have the complete second season, as well as the complete third season, which is in more of the slimline case compared to the box set here. And to be honest, I do prefer when TV shows manage to fit all the discs into just a standard Amaray instead of a big ass box set, because it doesn't take up as much space compared to, like you can see here, just the amount of space the season 2 box set is taken up compared to season 1. And then here is the complete 4th season, which actually I think that's in around when I stopped watching for sure. And then we have the 5th and final season of the show. It was in around the time when they had in the show that her character had a child. That's when I stopped watching. But moving on to definitely one of my favorite sitcoms of all time, being How I Met Your Mother. I absolutely love and adore this show. I've lost count of how many times I've seen every episode, and I've definitely done multiple full season, the full show watch through at least 2 or 3 times. This was what was needed, in the post Friends era, that was similar to Friends, and in my honest opinion, How I Met Your Mother is better than Friends. I enjoy the characters a lot more than I do. The characters are a lot more flawed and go through a lot more in the 9 seasons of the show than what Friends, the cast of Friends did in 10. So yeah, I honestly do love it. I unfortunately do not have it fully complete. I am missing seasons 4 and 8, and then I'll have a complete collection. I just, for whatever reason, cannot seem to find them. Again, I know I could easily order them online, but I'd rather, like I said, the thrill of the hunt. So here we have season 2, and what I love about the How I Met Your Mothers is they are in the standard Amaray case compared to the big box sets. So here is the 3rd season. I don't know exactly which I would say is my favorite season out of the entire show. Here we have season 5, the Suit Up edition, which, as from my knowledge, doesn't really change anything. Like it's not really like a special edition. It's something that they will say on the other editions moving forward. Definitely my favorite character is Marshall out of all of them. Lily definitely does get on my nerves quite a bit. And I don't know what my favorite episode would be, to be completely honest with you, out of the entire franchise. But I can tell you something for sure, and that is the final season is the worst. As you can see by the big sticker that they had to include, including the never before seen alternate series ending, where it still ends with their divorce, but the mother lives. So, it's this should not have, the whole wedding of Barney and Robin should not have been an entire season long premise. It should have been we'll give it a bit of a doubt. We'll say 5 episodes. 5 episodes out of the 24 episodes, and then have the rest of the 19 or so episodes be about developing the mother up a lot more, having more interactions between them, instead of it being, the last two episodes, they've been introduced, and then we're just gonna do a whole bunch of flash forwards until we find out that she's died, and then for Ted and Robin to get back together. That's just my opinion, and I know a lot of people hold that same sentiment. But at the same time, I do get some enjoyment out of the final episode. I just still think that the characters have progressed so far that it wasn't necessary for them to try and shoehorn back the Ted and Robin dynamic. It like I get, they did film it in around season 1, season 2, which David Arbiter or something like, I forget the actor's name, who played the son, who also played the Justin Russo on The Wizards of Waverly Place, did mention in a podcast or an interview or something like that they did shoot multiple endings for the show just in case it didn't get renewed. And to be honest, I think that the final the final scene should have just been flash forward to Ted saying, "And that, kids, is how I met your mother," and have Tracy come in and tell him that it's time to, dinner's ready. So, stuff like that. But that's just my opinion. Moving on to Happy Tree Friends. This is a compilation of a bunch of the YouTube episodes, because that's what Happy Tree Friends initially started with. Correct me if I'm wrong, I could be wrong, but in the super early days of YouTube, because that's how I remember watching it, 2008, 2009, watching a heap of the original shorts on YouTube, the little episodes, and absolutely loving it, because you think it's this nice cutesy little cartoon, and then all the blood and the guts and the horror start, and then you realize, oh, this is extremely fucked up. And it was so popular that it did end up on TV, and it does have multiple DVD releases as well as a big compilation, because I do remember seeing a video of someone going through the many home releases of Happy Tree Friends. So I've only ever found this one out and about. I would love to add more into my collection, because I genuinely find it funny and hilarious. There's very little talking. One of my favorites that I can remember off the top of my head is the lemonade stand one. So I'd say just go look that one up yourself. Next is just this random thing that I found in CEX, and I thought, fuck it, I'll get it, and that's Irish Legends for Children, which I believe that's an old fucking, why am I blanking on it? Extravision sticker, €3 for 2 nights. So it just goes through, and I'm assuming animated storytelling of all of these different Irish folklores that I grew up with. Like I grew up about with the Children of Lear, Santana, the Salmon of Knowledge, Uisín and Tír na nÓg. Let's see which is the other one. The Giant from Scotland, and Uisín. Were definitely ones that I remember. I'm not sure about Fionn and the Dragon, but yeah, it's, some of those stuff that I remember learning about in school and absolutely loving the sound of them. Moving on to the In-Betweeners, I have all 3 seasons. For whatever reason, this one took me the longest one to add into my collection, because I was just never seeing it. I would of course see the 3 season or season 1 and 2 box sets, but I'd never see season 1 by itself. And again, I know I could order online, but fuck that, the postage. But yeah, it's a show that I only got into after watching the second movie, and then of course I went back and watched every episode of the show. So here's season 2, And then, of course, I also watched the first movie. Now, the only thing is, I don't know if it's just me, but I just cannot seem to rewatch it without being absolute filled with cringe. Now, that's not me saying that it's bad or anything. I still love it. It's still a absolutely hilarious show for, when it came out, especially the movies. Um, and whenever I do see clips of it online, I can sit through them. But trying to sit through a full episode, I can't do. Granted, that was a couple of years ago. I haven't tried that. Tried to since. So who knows? Who knows? Next up is Justice League: The Brave and the Bold, which has 4 episodes from the cartoon. This is a spoiler for the monthly pickups. So it has the two-parter, The Brave and the Bold, as well as Injustice for All. I grew up with the reruns of this, Batman: The Animated Adventures, Batman: Brave and the Bold, and Batman Beyond. Those were the DC stuff that I grew up with. Granted, as a kid, I thought all superheroes were under the same umbrella. It also didn't help that the Lego stop motion animator Forced Fire 101 would have Spider-Man crossover with Batman. So that only fueled that as a kid. But yeah, it was a pretty cheap pickup. The same with Justice League Paradise Lost, which has the episodes Paradise Lost parts 1 and 2, and War World part 1 and 2. So yeah, those are the only 2 Justice League DVDs that I have in my collection. I do have some of the movies, but we'll of course cross that bridge when I get to the DVD movies in my collection. And then the last 2 to show off for the first stack here is Life on Mars. I absolutely love this show. It is one of my all-time favorites. I randomly watched it on Netflix back when during the pandemic. So we're probably are talking 2020 here, way before I started this channel. So I started it this November 21. And so yeah, I instantly fell in love with it. Mainly the main reason I watched it was because of John Sims, because obviously I know him as the Master, as one of the incarnations of the Master, from Doctor Who. So this was something else that I've watched that he was in, and I was very intrigued with the story, and I absolutely loved it. And it's a shame that the supposed 3rd season that I was going to get recently just has gone nowhere. Obviously, it does have a sequel series, Ashes to Ashes, which I haven't seen. I've seen like maybe 3 episodes of it, and I meant to go back to it when it was on Netflix, back when I had Netflix, and I just never did. And I never see Ashes to Ashes out hunting when I do, because I definitely do want to give it a shot. Ashes to Ashes just to see, but I also do want to rewatch Life on Mars in general, because it's been 5 years, because I'm recording this section of this video on New Year's Day. So it'll be about 5 years, give or take, since I actually sat down and watched all the episodes, because I think it's like they're like yes, about 6 episodes, or well, no, there's definitely more than that. But yeah, it's a short series, and I absolutely love and adore it. So now I need to go put those to the side and go grab the next stack. Okay, so next is My Name is Earl Season 1. I absolutely love and adore this show. I forget how I watched it or who introduced it to me, but back when I had not even teens, tweens, I'd say. I used to have the skybox. My mom got me a skybox for my room, and I absolutely fell in love with the show through reruns on E4, and so I was watching it, and then it came, of course, to the cancellation of season 4, which I didn't know at the time. So that bombshell dropped. I was like, oh, I can't wait for the next episode, and then the next episode to record was episode 1. I was like, huh? Why is that? And then I went in to school one day and I mentioned it to someone, and they're like, oh yeah, the show got cancelled. I was like, oh, that sucks. That's because it is one of my absolute favorite shows. I've rewatched it at least 2 or 3 times. Like the moment that got added onto Disney, when I still had Disney, that's when I did my most recent rewatch. And I definitely do, because I don't have it complete. I have just season 1 there, and I have season 3. Which season 3, the season where he's in jail, isn't the greatest, because that happened in around the 2008 2009 writer strike, or 2007 2008 writer strike. So obviously it wasn't the greatest, and so it kind of fell off when they essentially centered basically the entire season around him being in prison. But then season 4 definitely picked back up the pacing, because I absolutely love season 4. But I also do love season 1 and season 2. Season 1 and season 2 are probably the strongest seasons out of all of them. So yeah, next is the only season that I have of this show, and again, I don't see it out as often, and that is MASH. So I have not seen every episode of MASH. I just haven't. But I remember I would watch obviously the reruns, because this is way before my time, with my mother. And that's how I instantly fell in love with the likes of Hawkeye. At one point, I even had a cat named after him. And I just loved this version of the gang, because I didn't see the season 1 with the original person in charge of the MASH. And but I have also seen the final episode, and dear God, that is a tearjerker. That final episode, holy fuck. And I would love to add more seasons into my collection. I just don't see them, and if I do see them, I'm just not comfortable paying that price. So continuing on, we do have Michael Jackson's number 1. So this is video clip collection of multiple different music videos for Don't Stop Until You Get Enough, Rock With You, Billie Jean, Beat It, Thriller, Bad, The Way You Make Me Feel, Man in the Mirror, Smooth Criminal, Dirty Diana, Black or White, You Are Not Alone, Earth Song, Blood on the Dance Floor, and You Rock My World. And it's done in, again, one of these style things. So it kind of goes hand in hand with the number 1 Michael Jackson number 1 CD, which I just so happen to have a copy of it here. So yeah, it has most of the songs on here. So there's still 2 more songs on here after this, which is obviously Break of Dawn and One More Chance. So because I know there are some artists that will have like a compilation DVD of either the live performances or sometimes just their music videos. And so it was a very cheap pickup. Moving on to the Best of Morecambe and Wise. Now this was a part of a box set that I got in 2021. I think I paid like a tenner for it. It came with a book, which I don't think I still have, and it came with this DVD. And like I said, it's the very best of Morecambe and Wise. And again, like with MASH and a few other TV shows, I got introduced to this by my mother. So I would sit down and mainly just watch the Christmas specials and the documentaries about Morecambe and Wise. Especially the Singing in the Rain one as well, and the breakfast making scene. And I also have the Morecambe and Wise Bring Me Sunshine DVD, which has the 1979 Christmas special, as well as the 1962 special. So yeah, I do enjoy them, and they're always on every a version of the Christmas special. It's always on every Christmas. Next is another anime that I grew up with that I keep forgetting about, and not a lot of people do remember it nowadays, and that is Metabots. I loved this growing up. Fighting robots. What's not to love? It's a kind of again in the similar vein of Pokemon here. But it doesn't have like a full on release of on physical. At least for the English dub. I'm not too sure what it would be like in Japan, and what have you. But yeah, it's definitely one that I love, especially the original opening that they done for this, because that's what they would do in the early 2000s. Is instead of using the Japanese opening, they would hire people to make their own opening. So that's how you get the likes of Rock the Dragon, the Sailor Moon opening, the Metabots one, the Pokemon one, the Yu-Gi-Oh one, stuff like that. They would make their own theme songs for it. But it's now as things go on that anime is more popular, and it's not been done geared to the Western audiences. They're keeping a lot of that the Japanese stuff in, including the original opening and end credits. So yeah, that has the first 5 episodes. Next we have is I believe the complete season 6 of Monk. Again, Monk, MASH, The Golden Girls, which will be coming up. Diagnosis Murder, stuff like that is definitely things that I grew up with, watching with my mother, and absolutely loving them. And yeah, Columbo as well. Columbo is another one that I absolutely loved and adored. Like, I know this recently came back for like a movie during, like, before or after the pandemic. I forget which. I haven't watched it yet. But yeah, it's, again, I haven't seen every episode, but it is something that I would watch reruns on of with my mother if she was watching them. Next comes a series that I really do need to finish. I definitely do want to go back and watch it from the very beginning, because it's been a while, and I just cannot for the life of me remember all the stuff that happens, and that is Orphan Black. I remember this being heavily advertised on BBC, for BBC Three. And so I thought, oh, this looks interesting. Girl finds out that there's multiple clones of her. This seems up my alley. And so I recorded the first 2 episodes, and I remember as well because my mother was in hospital at the time, and so I was staying up at my aunt's, and so I had to walk to school, which was a really long walk. So by the time I got past my house, I was like, I'm just going to go in and take a bit of a break. And then I ended up not going to school. And then my mother was like, okay, well, if you're not going to school, then come down and see me at noon. And it was in around the time that I was watching Orphan Black, and then absolutely fell in love with the show. And so I watched every episode up until season 5. And then when it went on to Netflix, that's when I got back into it. For season 1, season 2, season 3, and season 4. And then when season 5 came out, I couldn't remember all the stuff that had happened. So I went to go start again, and then I just didn't. And then it went off of Netflix, and then I started getting the DVDs. And to my knowledge, I can't seem to find a season 4 and season 5 on physical. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, or if it's just like an American release, but I just don't know. So I'd have to, end up try to find a way to watch season 4 and season 5 if I decided to start back. Because the last time I started back, I stopped at season 3, or the start of season 4, and I just never picked it back up, because it is a very, very weird and interesting show. And then we get on to another show that didn't get the 3rd season on physical, and that is The Orville, Seth MacFarlane's love letter to Star Trek. this came out at the same time Discovery came out, and I remember a lot of people who hated Star Trek Discovery saying, "Oh, stop watching Discovery and watch the Orville because the Orville is more like Star Trek than Discovery is." And in a ways, they are right. If you want the feeling of the 90s Star Trek that eventually killed the franchise, that put it in for the hiatus until the Kelvin movies breathed new life into it. The same with Discovery and that. Then this is the show for you. And that's not knocking on the Orville, because I love the Orville. I rewatched season 1 and 2 last year, and I still fell in love with it. Season 1 is definitely a bit rocky. I'm not a huge fan of Alara compared to a lot of people. I prefer Tala, but that's just me. But yeah, the whole storyline with Bortus and the Mocklins and Topa is just absolutely beautiful, and I love it. And so, of course, I do have the complete second season, which is definitely stronger than the first. But I still have to rewatch season 3, because actually, by the time this comes out, they'll have already started filming this month for the 4th season, which I'm so excited for. Obviously, we're not going to get it until maybe like 2026, 2027, depending on the VFX and all that stuff. But it's a show that I absolutely love, and I will implore you to go and watch it. It's on Disney Plus. It is definitely one of the best sci-fi shows out there. Going back to something a little more Irish here, we have Podge and Rog, A Scare at Bedtime. I did talk about this once for a video, and basically this is like a super, super old copy that I had ever since I was a kid, that my cousin Shirley got me one year for Christmas. And I loved it, and I watched through all of them, and I still love it. It's so funny, it's so raunchy, the humor, the blood and the guts. It's basically just two puppets, down there, two brothers sharing a bed, Podge and Rog, recounting scary stories, and shit like that. Because it was just, there was airtime that needed to be filled on the schedule for RTE, so that's why they're always, the episodes are about like 5 minutes long, 5-6 minutes, and so it's always the puppets, and then there's also some live action stuff, and then it cuts to some scenes where the puppets are dressed up like the character as they're explaining the story. And yeah, I'm sure you can find the full seasons on YouTube in terrible quality, obviously, to watch, but I would highly recommend them. And then we get on to something that I absolutely loved as a kid, and honestly I'm still kind of a fan of, and that is Power Rangers. And we're going to start off with the very best of Power Rangers, the Ultimate Rangers. This I remember getting on VHS as a kid. The same with the original 1990 movie, the Mighty Morphin Power Ranger movie that they'd done. And I would watch them on repeat so much. Because it was Lightspeed Rescue that got me into Power Rangers, and I had a VHS of it. That would be that suit there. That's Lightspeed. And then I got heavily into it in around Wild Force and onwards, like Wild Force, Ninja Storm, Dino Thunder, SPD. Is definitely one of my favorites. Mystic Force is when I stopped, and I stopped for a number of years. But then I and around the time of the 2017 Power Ranger movie is when I got back into the franchise. But I haven't watched any of the newer stuff. Like, I've watched a couple of episodes here and there, but it's not something that I would actually dedicate my entire time to watch one of the newest seasons. Just a shame now that it doesn't exist. But this was apparently a fan voted count for what episodes to put on here to best represent the show. So we start off with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers White Light Parts 1 and 2, which reintroduces Tommy Oliver as the White Dino Ranger using a different suit, but it looked similar enough to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers that they got away with it. So they're using footage from a different Sentai. The same with the Zords. And then we have the final episode of Power Rangers in Space, Countdown to Destructions, Parts 1 and 2. Everybody keeps saying that In Space is the best Power Rangers season. I think it's only nostalgia because of these last two episodes. Then we have Power Rangers Lost Galaxy to the 10th Power, which is a crossover with In Space, which was the proper start of crossovers with the previous seasons. Because that's what we have here for Lightspeed Rescue, Trakeena's Revenge, Parts 1 and 2, which was the crossover with Lost Galaxy. And then the last one on here is the 10th anniversary special, Power Rangers Wild Force Forever Red. Now, I would watch, anytime there was an anniversary special out, I would watch it. So there's Forever Red, there's Once a Ranger, there's the one from Ninja Steel, that I'm blanking on the name, and then there's Beast Morphers had one, and then of course Once a Ranger that they did for the 30th anniversary, which I did review, and none of them has ever beaten just the amazingness that is Forever Red, which at the time had all 10 Red Rangers. They got Tommy back, they got Austin St. John, the original Red Ranger, back, and it was just amazing. Now there do exist full proper seasons but they were released on physical media, but they're Shout exclusive, so they're a boutique label, and because all the Power Ranger seasons were taken off of Netflix, that drive the prices up. So whenever I do find these compilation discs, DVDs, that's when I'll add them into the collection. So we'll start off with Ninja Storm Cyber Clash, which has a bunch of episodes on there. Like I said, Ninja Storm is definitely one of my favorites growing up. We have Ninja Storm Looming Thunder. Excuse me. And then we move on to Dino Thunder, which again is one of my all-time favorites. We have Volume 1, Day of the Thunder, Day of the Dino, which is the start. It has all the episodes there, Day of Dino Part 1 and 2, and Episode 3. And so yeah, that is all I have for that shelf. It's time to go grab another one, as we're getting very close to the end of this video already. All right. Moving on, continuing on actually with Power Rangers. I do have Volume 5 of Dino Thunder. So yeah, I just grew up loving Dino Thunder, especially the white Dino Ranger there, Trent Mercer. Was probably one of the best evil Rangers done since Tommy in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And the suits, I just think the suits from Abba Ranger, which is the Sentai that Dino Thunder is based on, is absolutely immaculate. It is probably my third favorite suit, to be completely honest with you, and the Zords as well. I absolutely love the Zords, and this is a high time when I was massively into Power Rangers. I had the toys, I had some of the Megazords, some of the Morphers as well. I was obsessed with the show. And I remember, I'm sure a lot of kids growing up watching Power Rangers were thinking that I would love to become a Power Ranger one day. That's how, if I had gone down the road of acting, and if I was in shape, and if Power Rangers was still going to be a thing, which is up in the air at the moment. But either way, that's a childhood dream that I had. And I'm going to admit as well, the amount of times I was walking home from school as a kid and just daydreaming of being recruited to be a Power Ranger and that they were real, that those types of daydreams I would have kind of often enough. But one of my favorite episodes from Dino Thunder is the episode where they just basically sit down and watch a poorly dubbed episode of Abba Ranger. I guess the budget just wasn't really there for it. So just to have like a super duper cheap episode, they just filmed the our Rangers watching it, and then they just dubbed over an actual episode of Abba Ranger. And it wasn't until years later that when I got back into the fandom, that's when I learned of, Power Rangers being a Japanese adaptation of Super Sentai, and that, this was the first time that an actual episode of Sentai was dubbed in English for that episode, and it's one of my favorite episodes. It's so kooky. It's so over the top. For Power Rangers. And it kind of just want me to go back and watch some Sentai. Because I have seen maybe one or two episodes of Sentai. I've seen episode 2 of Gal Ranger, which is Wild Force. And I've seen bits of the first episode of Gokaiger. But I definitely would need to like dedicate a proper time to sit down and watch through a Sentai in full. But continuing on to my another favorite season of mine, SPD, which is funny because this was set in 2025, which is now what we're in, and we definitely are no close to aliens than SPD was. But yeah, this was another one of my favorites. I love the suits. I had the Morpher. Shadow Ranger was one of my favorites. Doggy Kruger. And one thing that I do love is the fact that our Doggy Kruger costume, comparing it to the Sentai counterpart of SPD, Deca Ranger, I think it was, is night and day. Ours is so much better than the Doggy Kruger that they had in Deca Ranger. Again, I could be wrong on thinking that it's Deca Ranger. It could be something completely different. But getting down to the last two here is the last full season that I watched of Power Rangers, which is Mystic Force. And I loved Mystic Force. Again, I didn't have many of the toys, but I definitely had the Morpher. I remember that. And Korag there, the Purple Ranger down there, Purple Villain, who later would become a Power Ranger, is just one of the best designs. And like I said, I really do love the looks of Mystic Force and Magi Ranger in general. The capes were definitely a good addition to it, and the whole magical and mystical theme worked. And the theme songs for a lot of Power Rangers are amazing, but I really enjoyed Mystic Force theme song, to be completely honest. And then the last one that I have here is Dark Wish, because that was, as you see, volume 1. I'm not sure which volume this is, but yeah, that's the last of the Power Rangers that I have, because whenever I do see them out, and if they're in my price range, I will pick them up. Next we have Pokemon Chronicles, volume 2 plus free DVD for Pokemon Pokemon Chronicles volume 3 inside. I love this. I love Pokemon Chronicles, and it's a shame that we don't get that it never continued after 2 or 3 seasons, and enough for it to be put onto 2 or 3 volumes, because it's basically episodic in nature, where we pick up with a lot of the characters that we initially came across in the Pokemon world, that we don't get to see as often, because back when it was Ash as the main protagonist, once the companions left, like Brock, Misty, Tracy, we don't keep up with them until they decide to make an appearance later on in the anime in order to help progress Ash, or when it's at the end of the season when he decides to come home. So we never get to see what their day-to-day is. And a lot of the episodes are amazing. Like, there's an episode where this kid is about to start on his journey. And the 3 Kanto starter Pokemon run away, which is kind of in line with the Pokemon Adventures manga, where they all run off and Red has to go get them. But it's through him trying to go and help Professor Oak find these Pokemon, that's when he picks his he bonds with one of the Pokemon, being Bulbasaur. And it's such a beautiful episode. There's even an episode dedicated to Team Rocket. You know, after they get blasted off for the gajillion time, they crash land on this planet and they save this village, and they become heroes. You know, the only time they ever really become heroes in the story is during the movies, which are technically non-canon. But it's, you know, it's nice. It's slice of life. I love it, and I wish Pokemon would revive it just so we can see other stories of other characters that we met throughout the entire journey of Ash. Now that it's over, you know, pick back up with them, see what they're up to. But yeah, moving on to some Robot Chicken, specifically the Robot Chicken Star Wars specials. So I love these. I absolutely do. I remember watching a lot of these on YouTube, and they're just absolutely funny. Like, I've never fully sat down and watched a full episode of Robot Chicken, but I would watch the clips on YouTube. Like, as well, like one of the earliest YouTube videos I remember being shown, by my cousin, was a Pokemon Robot Chicken sketch. Where it's like, what's it like inside of a Pokeball? And I remember absolutely cracking up with it. But I do love the Robot Chicken Star Wars trilogy. So we have episode 1 there. Then we have episode 2 here, which with this nice little slipcover. And I just love all 3 of them. And I definitely am due for a rewatch of these soon. And then here, of course, is the final one. And I absolutely love this sketch. You know, the sketch where Palpatine has to take the elevator up and he just gets so mad. Now, this does say that it's from a library. I can guarantee I did not steal it from a library. I got it from a charity shop. So, yeah, I need to make that abundantly clear. Next is a franchise that I love, and that is Red versus Blue, specifically season 3, and it's the only season that I own. Now, I talked about this last December when I reviewed the final season / the movie of Red versus Blue, and this was something that I was massively obsessed with. It took a while for me to, I loved all 5, the first 5 seasons. They were funny, they were amazing, the jokes were great, and, it's what ignited my love for Halo. Granted, I don't actively play Halo, and if I do, I'm just doing it to, visit the maps that were seen on Red versus Blue. But yeah, I absolutely love the show. This is one of the earliest web series around. It predates YouTube. It started back in 2003, and it's just absolutely amazing. And I wish I had more seasons, but I unfortunately don't. I could order them online, but I got this from CEX. I got lucky that this was in CEX, because they never really do get them in. But it is definitely something that I do want to add into my collection, because season 6, and I rewatched it after watching through the last movie that they done, the season finale, and season 6 is by far my favorite. I love everything about it. I love the introduction of Wash, the revelations with the AI that kickstarted the whole freelancer arc for 4 seasons. It was amazing. And now we move on to season 1 of Steven Universe. And it's the only season that I have, because it is incredibly hard to get and incredibly expensive to get other seasons of Steven Universe. I could buy the big box set of it, which has all 5 seasons, plus the movie, plus Steven Universe Future, and it is extremely expensive, like 50 odd euro, 50 plus euro, I would say. But I love Steven Universe. Now, I have not seen every episode of the OG Steven Universe. I have seen the movie and I have seen Future. And the main reason why I haven't watched every other episode of main Steven Universe, and I know for the Steven Universe fans that's going to be sacrilege, is simply because I got introduced to this show. I was aware of the show, and I swore I'd never watch it until TikTok happened, and Steven Universe was all over my For You page, and so I would watch it. So I watched a good handful of episodes through TikTok, and that's what got my love for it. And then I went out and watched the movie, which I did a review of it in 2023, and then I watched Steven Universe Future. So I still have yet to watch the main series because like season 1 is over 50 episodes long, and that's what kind of like puts me off watching season 1 and just the show in general. Like obviously with season 2 and onwards, it's normal episode length, but it's the fact that it's 51 episodes that's what kind of stops me from wanting to watch it. And like a lot of that will be filler, and I don't kind of like watching filler. But yeah, moving on to BBC's Sherlock, season 1. I love this show. My mother got me into it in around when season 3 started, because that's when she got into it. Well, she got into it prior to that, where she binge watched season 1 and season 2 in the lead up to season 3. And yeah, this came out at the exact same time that Matt Smith took over for Doctor Who. And it's done by both Stephen Moffat and what's his other name? Mark Gatiss. And I love it. I've watched all 4 seasons. I actually, as I'm recording this on the 2nd of January, I rewatched episode 1 last night because I do want to rewatch it because it's been ages since I sat down and watched it. And it's so weird looking at a very, like, it was 15 years ago, but still, looking at it, like, Martin Freeman, he hasn't really changed much. He hasn't really aged in the last 15 years, but Benedict Cumberbatch has. And seeing such a babyface Benedict Cumberbatch from 15 years ago is wild. Like, I get it, that's how aging works, but still, it was it was a good episode. It was the very first episode, A Study in Pink, was a phenomenal episode, and I only have season 1, and I definitely will be picking up season 2 and season 3 and season 4, because I do want to give season 4 another shot, because I remember when I was watching it I didn't mind it, but maybe now my opinions might have changed. But now we get on to the big other collection of mine in terms of TV shows now that we're in S, and that is South Park, because I want every season of the show, all the specials, because I love the show. So these are the seasons that I have. So I have the complete first season of the show. I have watched it. I have watched through all 13 episodes, and it's it's not bad. It's not bad. Then we have season 2, which I've watched a good bit of. I haven't seen every episode of the show, but I definitely do want to go back and watch at some point. Try to watch through every episode. I unfortunately do not have season 3, but I do have season 4, which again I have probably seen a good number of episodes from here. And then I also do have the complete 5th season as well. And I don't know, like, I can't like really talk on like the episodes because they're not on the back, and I'm not opening up every single one of them just to get like an episode breakdown. I do have season 6, the complete season 6, which is in an anime style, and here are the episodes. Jared has AIDS. That was funny because that predates that whole thing. Let's see, what else do we have that I like? Professor Chaos, the very first Professor Chaos, plus Simpsons did it. Simpsons already did it, great one. Red Hot Catholic Love is another good one. Let's see. A Ladder to Heaven, that's a absolute amazing. And of course, one of the very iconic episodes, The Return of the Fellowship of the Rings to the Two Towers. Absolutely amazing episode. My Future Self and Me, another absolute great episode from season 6. I do also have then, of course, season 7, with the return of Kenny. And I'm not sure exactly what episodes I have seen from here, but if I take it out, we do have, of course, the Crip episode, which I definitely have seen. And then here is the back with the Casa Bonita, which is another episode that I've seen. Then we have the Raisins Girls there. And so opening it up here, we have Cancelled, Crazy Crips, which I have seen. Let's see, I'm a Little Bit Country, I think I have seen. Then we'll move over to the next one. Let's see. Yes, I have. Okay, so I have seen Kristen Rock Hard. I have seen Casa Bonita. I've seen bits of Raisins. And I think I've seen It's Christmas in Canada. For sure. So let me just put this back in, and we'll move on to the next season, as we're actually just two away from having to move on to the next stack. So I don't have season 8. I do have season 9, which again I have probably seen a good few episodes, especially with the PSP episode there. I thought that was a really, really great one. So there's that. Then of course we have the complete 10th season, which I think has some of my absolute favorite episodes from it. So let's just judging by the pictures that I'm seeing here, there definitely is like a lot of episodes that I have seen from here. So The Return of Chef I have seen, Smuggler I have seen, Cartoon Wars Parts 1 and 2 I have seen, A Million Little Fibes or Fibers I have seen, Man Bear Pig I have not seen, Tisk I have seen. Then we move over to here, Make Love Not Warcraft, absolutely love. And it's funny that, you know, Matt Stone, it's either Matt or Trey, I think it was Trey, because I always get those two mixed up, but one of them really did not want Make Love Not Warcraft to go out. He was very upset about that. Mystery of the Urinal Deuce I have not seen, Miss Teacher Bangs a Boy I have seen, Hell on Earth 2006 I have seen, Go God Go and Go God Go XII I have seen, Stanley's Cop I have seen, yeah. So I've basically seen nearly every episode of season 10, which is, you know, it's good to know because it's a phenomenal season. Season 10 is probably one of the best seasons of South Park out there. So now it's time for me to put those to the side and go grab the next batch, which again is going to be mostly South Park. Okay, so continuing on with the complete season 11 of South Park. Again, I'd say I've seen probably most of the episodes. I'm not going to go through them all. But next, I do have the DVD version of Imagination Land. Because, you know, this was originally going to be another, as we all know by now, this was originally going to be another movie. But it was split as a 3-parter between it's either season 11 or season 12. I forget which one. And so then they, of course, released this standalone DVD release of it, where the 3 episodes are edited together to be like a movie. With some additional scenes. And the cool thing about my copy is it's an ex-rental from Chartbusters, which is an Irish rental that I remember going to as a kid. Then, of course, we do have the complete 12th season as well. I probably have seen quite a number of the classic episodes from that. Then we move on to season 13, which again is another phenomenal season. And then we're going to have a massive jump from season 13 all the way to season 21, which I have seen. I've seen every episode of this. So from season 18 onwards, I have seen every single episode of the show. And yeah, it was a step up, better than, you know, season 20. which is when I actually got into the show. I started watching it when it became more serialized and had like an ongoing story instead of just the episode of the week formula. And that's what really got me into it. Like as season 20 was airing, I went back and watched season 18 and 19, and then I've seen every episode after that. And then of course I do have one of these specials, and that is the best special that they've ever done, and that is post-COVID. This 2-part special is like, it knocks every other special out the park. And no other special that they have done for Paramount has ever lived up to this. Like this is peak, you know, getting to see a potential future of the aged up boys is just amazing. And it was just a massive hilarious 2-parter. You know, seeing a possible future where Cartman becomes a Jew. You know, the one thing he's been ripping on Kyle for. Just see, you know, then them traveling back in time to actually fix their friendship that we've seen was rocky at the end of the COVID specials. So it was just absolutely amazing. And then the last South Park season that I have is of course season 25, and again, absolutely love this one. I got it from HMV. It still has the sticker on it, and it is just absolutely amazing. And you know, I look forward to the new season and any new specials that we get, because obviously the Ozempic one, it was good, but it could have been better in my opinion. But that's it for the South Parks. Now we move on to Supernatural, which I have the complete first season of. Now, I love Supernatural. I've seen every episode. I even cried at the finale. It was the second TV show to ever make me cry. But when it comes to adding Supernatural into my collection, and I've been saying it ever since, it should have ended with season 5. And that is where I will stop my collecting. I will not collect a season after that. I will never watch past season 5 moving forward, because now don't get me wrong, there are definitely seasons that I do enjoy, but the main issue I have had with Supernatural post season 5 is the fact that they have to keep power creeping the last big bad of the season, and then, you know, towards the end where they'd actually kill off the big bad, or like as like a mid-season finale, and then just have a bunch of filler episodes until we get to the finale. It was not great. Especially to the point where they literally power crept themselves to where they could only fight God, and then managed to beat him and make Jack the new God. Which, I like Jack. Jack was definitely one of my favorite additions. But yeah, no. Season 5 is where I'm going to stop my collecting. You know, because it after season 5, it just feels tonally like a different show. And I only have up as far as season 4. But yeah, like tonally after season 4, it is completely different. Like I've rewatched some clips from the first 4 seasons, and then from some of the newer seasons, completely different. The massive character shift from the boys as the seasons go on is massive. Like I prefer the seasons 1 to 5 counterparts to the boys than the later ones. But that's all I have for Supernatural. I'm still on the lookout for season 5. Next we have a live performance from Slipknot, Disaster Pieces, which was released in 2003. So here are the live set list plus videos, music videos for the songs. And I still have yet to sit down and watch it. I do love Slipknot. Now, I'm not like a massive fan of it, but you know, I like a lot of their early works, to be completely honest with you. And this does have like a lot of my favorites, like People Equal Shit, Wait and Bleed, Spit It Out, let's see, Eyeless, that's another one of my absolute favorites. And so yeah, there definitely is a lot of my favorites on there. And just like, I'm not really, like I said, I wouldn't cast myself as like a massive fan like I would, like, say, for Avenged Sevenfold. But I like some of the songs and I go back to them every now and again. But we are getting close to the end of this pile because we're on to another multiple season TV shows that I have, and that is Scrubs. I fucking love and adore Scrubs up until season 8. Season 9 does not count. It is not canon. It does not exist, and I'll never own it. But there is talks of a reboot that is happening, which I'm skeptical of. Like, I'm happy, and if they get everyone back, I'll be super fucking happy, and I would watch it. But I'm after season 9, I'm like, I'm a little bit iffy on that. But yeah, I absolutely love and adore this show. I haven't seen every episode, but I do love it. I have seen every episode of season 1, and I've seen a handful of season 2, and again, I don't own every season of the show, just because, again, I don't really see them much when I'm out and about, and if I do, it's always season 1 and season 2 and season 6. Those are the only ones that I'll ever see out and about. So I do have, of course, the complete 4th season, and some of my favorite episodes are those emotional episodes, where we learn more about Dr. Kelso and why he does what he does, taking the deals just from rich people to then be able to keep, like, say, the free prenatal clinics open, and my hero, I think it was season 4, where Dr. Cox has that breakdown. That episode is just amazing. Like, even in season 1, like the second or third episode in, fucking gut punches you, and that's good television. That's good because you don't see it coming. And there's like, I've rewatched some clips of the show, especially some of the emotional parts, and it fucking floors you. So that's season 3. I thought that was season 4, but no, it's season 3. This is season 4, and it's just absolutely amazing, and I love the show, especially the ending. Oh my god, the ending nearly gets me every single time. Then I also have the complete 6th season, and then I also do have the final season, in my opinion, the final season. So yeah, that's all of Scrubs that I have, and then the last thing for this stack before I need to go grab a new one is The Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. This is the early 80s, 90s cartoon. And I grew up watching it, watching the reruns of. So those are the episodes that are on there. So now I'm going to go put these back. We are literally got a alcove and a half to go. And then it'll be the end of the video. I have literally no idea how long this video is because I have to edit these on my laptop. Otherwise, because they'll be so big and I only have a finite space on my phone. I literally have no idea how long this video is until I go to edit. Okay, so next we have a TV show that I've only seen episode 1, and I do need to go back and watch the 2 seasons, and that is Spaced. I enjoyed season 1. I just haven't gone back to it because there are only like 6 episodes between the 2 seasons, so I definitely will fly through them. I just gotta get around to it eventually. Next we do have the complete original 32 episode run of Thunderbirds plus a few documentaries. I did a video of this last December, showing it off, me opening it. I got it for a steal, because I grew up on Thunderbirds. I absolutely loved Thunderbirds as a kid. I even had the Tracy's Island twice, the 90s version of the Tracy Island. But yeah, I definitely want to go back and rewatch it, and Thunderbird 2 is my all-time favorite. Next, I do have the complete 3rd season of The Golden Girls, because like a lot of the shows that I mentioned that I have here, and there's going to be probably one or 2 more, it was something that I would watch with my mom whenever she would watch it, and that's what got me into them. And yeah, so I've never seen every episode of The Golden Girls, but I know that I do love it. Next, we have stories from the Tracy Beaker TV show from end of series 2, beginning of series 3. I've never seen every episode of it. I didn't even know it was on physical media. And because I love Tracy Beaker, the TV show. Because again, it was something that I grew up with on CBBC that would just be on, and I enjoyed it. Granted, I never read the books that it's based on, but it's so popular that they bring back a new version of it every couple of years. And then of course we do have the story of Tracy Beaker, Farewell for Me, and I just don't see them as often. This is like literally the second DVD that I've found of Tracy Beaker whilst out and about. But yeah, moving on to another season of a series of a show that I have a few seasons, but again, I'm only collecting a finite of them, and that is, of course, 2.5 Men. I will rewatch the clip from this show or just a full episode of it, and I'll still die laughing. It's that good. And it's just a shame that, of what happened in between season 8 and season 9. But yeah, I think season 8 is the final season with Charlie, and that will be the last one that I go for. We have the complete second season. I have the complete third season. I have the complete fourth season. And again, this is just something that I very rarely will see out and about. And for the longest time, I only had the first 4 seasons. That is until I picked up the complete 6th season. And that's it. Like, I think at one point I had like season 7 on DVD as well. I would rewatch that a ton. A lot of those episodes, because they're just that good. Next is a box set documentary about the Beatles. These are the documentaries that are on there. And I got it because it was such a cheap pickup, and I love the Beatles, and I want to have more of the documentaries about them. So yeah, moving on to Top Gear, the Polar special, the director's cut. I definitely do want to pick up more of the specials on physical, because they're just some of the best part of Top Gear / the Grand Tour. Next we have The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, taking over the Tipton. Again, there's not really a full physical release of this Disney show. There's like a few DVDs here and there, but that's about it. And then we have, of course, the first of the Disney Channel show crossovers, and that is That's So Sweet Life of Hannah Montana. Now, technically, Hannah Montana does not show up until the very end of said special. It's mainly just That's So Raven crossing over with The Sweet Life, and it's amazing. Like, I love that, because at the time I loved The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and I loved That's So Raven. Not because she had a big chest like Raven Simone was talking about in a podcast last year, where she thought that the only reason little boys watched the show was because she had a big chest. That's not true. I watched it because it was fucking hilarious, and I enjoyed the storylines. One of my favorite episodes from That's So Raven is where it's a what if of where she doesn't get the ability for visions. It's Eddie that gets it. And it's, what ifs like that I really, really enjoy. Like Zack and Cody had one where they go into a parallel universe through a phone box, an old British phone box, which is again a callback to Doctor Who. But yeah, this was also this special that actually got me into Hannah Montana. Because I'd never watched it, but after this special had ended, it started with an episode of Hannah Montana, and so my thought process was that the episode had just that this special went on commercial and it came back, but then it was an episode of Hannah Montana, and then I enjoyed that, and then that's what got me into watching Hannah Montana. Up until for like the first 3 or 4 seasons. I'm not 100% sure on where the timeline works on that, but then of course I stopped watching. But I have seen clips of Hannah Montana since, and I do enjoy it. The same way I still enjoy The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody and That's So Raven whenever I do see clips of that. But also, like I said, this is the first of the crossover specials. When The Sweet Life on Deck happened, after Sweet Life of Zack and Cody ended, there was yet another crossover of the three big Disney shows at that time, being The Sweet Life on Deck, Wizards of Waverly Place, and Hannah Montana Still. So technically, Wizards and Magic exist in this timeline as this special was airing, because we know Wizards take place in the same universe. And then the last one for this stack is season 2 of Catherine Tate, I believe. Season 2. So again, I never really watched much of this growing up, but I have seen, of course, clips of it growing up. And then I've seen one, the Christmas one that they done when David Tennant had left, where he shows up to Nan as a ghost of one of the Christmas past, a ghost of Christmas, doing their version of Christmas Carol. So yeah, that's that stack, and now just 2 more stacks to really go, and then that'll be the end of the video. Okay, so the second to last stack here, a lot of it is actually, big box sets. So yeah, we'll move on to season 2 of That 70s Show. Again, I absolutely love this show. I haven't seen every episode of it, but I won't collect the final season that doesn't have Eric in it. And even though I only watched the first episode of That 90s Show, I have seen some clips of it that would have probably made me go back to watch it. But since I learned that it got cancelled after the second season, I don't feel the need to, which is a shame, because it definitely had the legs to stand on its own. It started to grow into its own outside of, being the sequel series to, That 70s Show. But yeah, I only have the second season for that. Next is a TV show I definitely do want to watch, and it's the Sarah Connor Chronicles for Terminator. This was the short-lived TV series. This is only season 1 of the Sarah Connor Chronicles, which I believe takes place in between. AJ can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it takes place between 2 and 3, Terminator 2 and Terminator 3, and then it got cancelled due to poor ratings and the 2007-2008 writer strike. So that's what had it cancelled. But AJ has recommended it to me when I started watching through the Terminator series. So yeah, I just need to get about it at one point. Next, we have the Sooty Magic Show. Now, this is probably one of the more newer ones compared to what I remember growing up watching on VHS. But I absolutely love and adore Sooty as a kid. It was, again, one of my comfort shows to watch on VHS. I'd rewatch any of them that I had over and over and over again growing up. And yeah, it's I would love to have some of the ones that I grew up with back in the collection. Next is a box set of TV show. Well, one of them is a movie, kind of. And that is A Very Merry Tom and Jerry. So this has three DVDs in it. One of them is a movie, I guess, being Tom and Jerry Christmas Pause for Holiday. I have not seen this, so I can't really comment too much on it. But it also includes Tom and Jerry Classic Collection Volume 1 with over 3 hours of footage. So these are the episodes that are on there. And then we also have Classic Collection Volume 2, which has these episodes on it. So this was €1 to buy this box set. And the main reason I bought it was for the Classic Collection Volume 1 and 2. Because, again, I grew up with Tom and Jerry. I loved Tom and Jerry as a kid. All the different versions of it, the original 40s cartoon, to the 60s, to the stuff that I grew up with in, late 90s, early 2000s version of Tom and Jerry. I loved it all. Like, even my cousin, whenever he would stay over, I would always be the first one to wake up, That's just because I'm a morning person and he isn't. And so I'd be downstairs watching, Saturday morning cartoons, and I'm flicking through the stations. And as soon as I seen Tom and Jerry, I'd shout up to him that Tom and Jerry was on, and he would come running down, and we'd both end up sitting there laughing our asses off watching Tom and Jerry. And so that's always been like a fond memory for me. Next, we have another Disney Channel mix, and that is Wish Gone Amiss from three different shows, being Cory in the House, Hannah Montana, and The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Now, I remember I think I have seen all of them, of the Wish Gone Amiss. So I believe the Cory in the House one is where he wishes he was president, which was definitely one of my favorite episodes. Now, when I watched these three episodes, I didn't know that it was a connected thing. But the Hannah Montana one is probably one of the best episodes of Hannah Montana in general, where she wishes that, she was Hannah all the time. And once she looked into that possibility of what would have happened, she immediately hates it and tries to wish to revert back to her old life. And then the Sweet Life and Zack and Cody one is just absolutely up the walls bonkers, being the fact that it's just them being superheroes and Mr. Mosby wanting to rid the world of children and make them young adults, that type of stuff. So that one was very kooky and all that stuff. Next is a steelbook. I don't have many DVDs, TV show steelbooks, surprisingly enough. That's more so for, I do in the Star Trek department, for Picard Season 2, which, if you want to see my Star Trek collection, it's further back on the uploads. But Voltron is not something I got into as a kid. But I just really liked the design of the steelbook, and it was a cheap enough pickup. So I probably should give Voltron a shot at some point. I'm pretty sure I would like it. But now we get to the two big box sets, and which takes up the vast majority of this, and that is Will and Grace. Now, like I've been saying throughout this entire over 2 hour video now, I would watch certain shows with my mother, and I would instantly fall in love with them. Will and Grace was one of them. This was back when I was 6 or 7, maybe 7 or no, it was either 7 or 8 or 8 or 9. One of the two, I forget which. I have the memory of a goldfish at times, but I have watched a lot of episodes from Will and Grace, and I absolutely love and adore the show. Especially for what it was for the time. And it has a lot of funny moments. One of my favorite characters two of my favorite characters being Karen and Jack. I think those two are one of the perfect comedic duos of all time. And it's definitely something I do want to get around to fully watching. So I have season 1, season 4, and season 3 in the wrong order for whatever reason. And then I also have season 6 and season 7. Now I need to pause whilst I go put these back and grab the final stack of DVDs for TV show. Okay, so the final stack is going to start off with the original final season of Will and Grace, season 8. Obviously, towards the latter end of the 2010s, it did come back for a revival season, which I have not seen. I've seen some clips of it, and it definitely, still holds a candle to the original. But yeah, next we have Hanna-Barbera's Wacky Racers Volume 1. This was again something I did watch, but the only times it was ever on for me was like very in the middle of the night type of situation. So growing up, there would be a few times where I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I just could not get back to sleep. And so at that point, my mother would have gone to bed. And so I would sneak downstairs and watch cartoons, and they'd on Cartoon Network and Boomerang. They would have these massive cartoon blocks where they would cycle through many different cartoon shows. This being one of them. And then some of the and eventually it started to include some of the cartoons that I grew up on. And that was the only way that you could watch them, like the Cram Twins, Ed, Ed and Eddie, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, that type of stuff. And so those were just some of the memories that I had of watching Wacky Racers growing up. And now we get to the X-Men 90s cartoon, which I almost have every episode. I am missing just one volume to make it complete, and then I'll have all of them, excluding X-Men 97. So we'll start off with Season 1, Volume 1, Episodes 1 to 7. Again, I would watch reruns of this on Jetix. The same with the Spider-Man one, the Fantastic Four one, and the Hulk one. Those are the ones that's how I got introduced to a lot of this stuff. So here we have Season 1, Volume 2, Episodes 8 to 13. And did I watch every episode? Probably not, to be completely honest with you. Again, it's just whatever was on reruns at that time. I have Season 2, Volume 1, which is Episodes 1 to 6. Then I have Season 2, Volume 2, Episodes 7 to 13. Then we have Season 3, Volume 1, Episodes 1 to 7. And then we're jumping straight to Season 3, Volume 3, Episodes 14 to 19. So I'm missing Volume 2 from Season 3, and then I'll have every episode. And then I have Season 3, Volume 4, Episodes 20 to 25. And then I have this big collection for Season 4 and Season 5 that I found brand new sealed in a charity shop. So it has Season 4, Volumes 1 and 2, and then Season 5, Volume 1 and 2 before it, got cancelled and then revived. And then the last of the TV show that I have is volumes of Yu-Gi-Oh! So yeah, the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters I have here. These are kind of hard to come by. I very rarely will see them out, which is why I only have 4. Now, I know on Amazon I could buy the complete original Yu-Gi-Oh! Box set for like 50 quid. But again, that's 50 euro more than I want to spend on that. So maybe one day, if I can get a good enough deal on it, I will bite the bullet. But this is, of course, Volume 1, Heart of the Cards. And they would always include 3 episodes. So we have the first 3 episodes on here. And as you can see here, Special Limited Edition includes Metal Raiders Booster Pack of 9 collectible cards. Because when you used to be able to buy these sealed, I do remember buying, getting a good few of them sealed like this. They would include a booster pack, which was very cool. It's because this was like, by the time these were coming out, the like Metal Raiders was not that set at that time. It was like we were probably on GX at that point. So it was probably one of the few reprints at that time of Metal Raiders. Then of course I have Volume 7, Double Trouble Duel, which has episodes 19 to 21, which is the first 3 parts of the Paradox Duel. And then we are jumping straight ahead to Volume 9, which is Champion versus Creator, which has episodes 25, 26, and 27. And then we move straight on to the final of one of the finals of Season 1, which is Yugi versus Pegasus Part 1, which has the first 3 parts to their duel on there. Now, I have reviewed Season 1 of Yu-Gi-Oh! On here. Initially, when it came out in 2023, it did not do well. And I haven't checked it since to see if it's worth doing, rewatching the Battle City arc to review that. So probably once I've actually finished filming this now, I'll go check. But that is everything. That is my entire TV show collection, excluding Doctor Who and Star Trek, because they have their own dedicated videos, being 2 hours and an hour and 42 minutes respectively. If you have made it this far, thank you very much for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed seeing what my collection. And yeah, basically, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I shall see you all next Wednesday, as we only have 2 more collection showcases to go through, and that is my DVD movie collection and my VHS collection. Now, the VHS collection, I can assure you, will not be over an hour long. It will more than likely be about a half hour long. But yeah, that is going to wrap this up. So thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you all on the very next upload.